What's going on, Jerome's? Don't mess with Texas. ESPN Vikings beat writer Courtney Cronin, who's been doing some phenomenal work lately, did up a great piece this weekend about Kirk Cousins and the conundrum that new GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah faces with the soon-to-be 34-year-old signal caller. Options with Kirk Cousins. Now, we did a video where I outlined all of these options, but CC really fleshed them out and really expanded upon what the Vikings can do, whether it's trade, whether it's let it ride, whether it's extend. They're not going to cut him. All right, so take that option off the table. They're not going to cut him and just have $45 million dead because his $35 million salary is fully guaranteed this year. So, no. Blah, blah, blah. Adofo-Mensah. Conundrum. The Vikings are at a crossroads with the quarterback. Cousins has 1 year remaining on his 2-year, $66 million extension. Yada, yada. The figure accounts for 21.24% of the Vikings salary cap in 2022. Vikings are technically $13 million over as of right now, which it's less ideal. Says he wants to be a Viking. Of course he wants to be a Viking. They paid him all the money. Pay that man his money. Options, trading Cousins. Ooh, is that Jake Browning in the background? What up? Remember when Jake Browning was the cat's ass? Yeah. And Kellen Mond, I give Kellen Mond a pass for his rookie year. I do not believe anything that Zimmer said about him. Oh, I see him in practice every day, blah, blah, blah. Give him a coaching staff that actually believes in him, and then we'll see what we got. But trading Cousins, there could be a meaningful trade market for a quarterback who finished 4th in passer rating, 9th in touchdowns, tied for 4th in game-winning drives, and teams like Steelers, Panthers, Saints, Broncos, all are in need of quarterback 2022, even though the Panthers picked up Sam Darnold's 5th-year option. And there are the teams that still know what they're doing at the position, like the Packers or the Raiders. If the Raiders didn't roll with Derek Carr, I don't know what they're waiting for. I understand a new GM, a new head coach coming in, but if the Vikings decide to pursue the trade route, Adofo-Mensah would need to use the time ahead of March 1st combine to find a partner, maybe even places a call to his former team in Cleveland. As we talked about before. They have their decision to make on their own. Baker Mayfield, also on his 5th-year option, fully guaranteed. It's $18.848 million, I want to say. Of course, Kevin Stefanski. The ties are there. Parameters could be costly. Cousins, $35 million base salary for 2022, fully guaranteed. Yep. Moving to another team would likely require the Vikings to absorb some of that base salary, which, if they were able to get the right amount of draft capital in exchange for the quarterback, could be looked at as a Minnesota paying double-digit millions for high draft picks. So, say, hypothetically, in a vacuum, a team would trade for Cousins, but if it's full freight, $35 million, they only offer a 2. But say the Vikings take on 10 million of that, or maybe even 50. We'll say 15. Say 15 million of that cap. They still save 20, which is still nice. And then the new team only takes on 20 onto their 2022 books, and then that second gets upgraded to a first. I would do that. Yeah. Absolutely. Most painless way. That way, the quarantine would take a much more manageable, like the Colts did with Carson Wentz. How'd that one work out? Or swappy with Stafford and your goof. Moving 33-year-old quarterback, 34 in August, will leave the Vikings in a bind and way behind, and they're willing to make a deal in the position 2022 unless they're able to land a cheap starting caliber quarterback. There aren't many who are unrestricted free agents. Marcus Mariota one time. Bridge QB, or trade for one who may not be sold on getting an extension route. It would nearly assure the team would use their 2020 first round pick at number 12 on quarterback and not roll the dice with 2021 Kellen Mond. Why is that a sure? All right, fine. Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, a sure Minnesota. It can field an offense capable of being competitive right away? Question mark. Both would be fun. I mean, Malik Willis's upside is phenomenal, even though I think that he needs a year or two to marinate. Kenny Pickett, I love his swag. I love his game. I love his leadership. If the hand size issues get figured out, then I'm in. Option 2, extending Cousins. The Vikings extended Cousins 2020 and created $10 million in cap relief by lowering his cap hit number. Ever since back-to-back seasons, Washington, whatever. If Cousins was willing to take a lesser base salary, potentially in the $28 to $30 million range, it would like to be another fully guaranteed deal on a 2-year basis based on his previous history, which would allow him to re-up when he's 35. I don't see that happening, where you have an older quarterback who sort of is what he is. He's a top 10 to 12-ish quarterback. Kwesi, I don't think that he's going to attach his legacy to Kirk Cousins, where, I mean, GMs get hired and fired all the time. I mean, if this thing fully goes to pot, maybe Kwesi's out of here in 2-3 years. And do you really want to extend Kirk Cousins for 2 or 3 of those years? Or do you want to take a shot on going after your future franchise quarterback? Now, this could be in the draft this year, even though not really the draft for it. Could be waiting for next year if you roll with Cousins for this year. And yeah, something that we didn't even mention in the previous video, letting him play out the final year of his deal. So if you keep him at full freight, $45 million cap hit, $35 million fully guaranteed base salary, you're going to have to find money elsewhere. Even though, hashtag the cap is a myth. Ooh, that felt good. We haven't brought that one up in a while. They got to find money somewhere else, right? So there's $13 million over. And she talks about Harrison, 13.5. Thielen, 16.9. They certainly would have some trade value. Danielle Hunter has a $26.12 million cap hit, $18 million rooster bonus on the 5th day of the new league year, which would be interesting, where I think that given Adofo-Mensah's background with the Niners, Bosa, and the Browns, Garrett, he understands the value of a premier edge rusher who can wreck a game. But Danielle, I mean, he's played, 8 games? 7.5 games, something like that, over the last 2 years. So, even though I love him, man. I love him. I want to keep him. Also, she throws this in there. Does Adofo-Mensah want Dalvin Cook on the books for a $12 million cap hit? Ooh! Where, when Dalvin is healthy, he's one of the best running backs in the game, but that's a big win. He's never played a full 16 or 17 game season in his career, so I don't know. And if they want to go modernize, up-tempo, throwing the ball, build around the quarterback, and build around the playmakers on the outside, maybe you don't pay up for a premium price for a running back. And I do think that Dalvin would have some value as well. And then she also mentioned Michael Pierce could be a cap casualty. Dalvin Tomlinson, who's heading into the second year of his 2-year deal they signed last offseason. It's possible. Even though they are good players, I think they could be pay cut restructure candidates, or, well, you can't restructure Tomlinson. He's only got 1 year left, but pay cut or cut situation, even though I do think that both of them could have some trade value. But things could get nuts. I mean, they could do all of these things, trading Harrison, trading Thielen, trading Danielle, trading or cutting Dalvin, trading or cutting Pierce and Tomlinson, on top of trading Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. And this is one of the more exciting off seasons there ever has been to be a Viking. Actually, this may be the most intriguing because there could be wholesale changes. Like, even, all right, so after Leslie took over for Childress full-time in 2011, there wasn't too many changes. I mean, they drafted Ponder, sure. They signed Donovan McNabb, except it was what it was. And then when Zimmer took over 2014 from Leslie 2013, all right, so the defense suddenly got better, but there wasn't the seismic shift. Well, there was Teddy. Well, maybe the new regime change, maybe new quarterback coming in. Malik Willis, Kenny Cody Pickett, nail it. I don't know, but yeah, it's gonna be a busy offseason. It's gonna be interesting either way. And if it all builds towards the Vikings getting that much closer to a Jerome Barty, I'm for it. Even though some of these would hurt. Cousins, not so much. But some of these, like Harrison, Thielen, Danielle, Dalvin, just playing in a different jersey, they feel really, really weird. But I'll get it. But your thoughts are thoughts. ESPN, the Kirk Cousins Conundrum. Let us know your thoughts on their thoughts. Let us know your thoughts on our thoughts on their thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.